drones sent by foreign adversaries to assassinate President Trump. He's not anywhere. They're not near D.C. where the transition would be, or Florida where he is. Well, we'll see. And again, this is on Charlie Kirk's show.
The Iranians, we know they want to assassinate President Trump. Are you suggesting that these might be here on a nefarious mission to try to assassinate President Trump before certification day on January the 6th?
Charlie, that's the million-dollar question, because...
Yeah, but if they do, then J.D. Vance becomes president and he picks his vice president. He's just as hawkish. The fuck?
Some of the things that people like me have, and it's nothing magical about me. It's the fact that there has been a transition of trust and a loss of trust, not only within the U.S. government system and the population of the U.S., but especially between foreign friendly liaison services and other groups that operate overseas and the CIA at large.
So they're miffed for some reason, so they're not going to let the CIA know if a mothership full of drones is coming across the ocean. If they get wind of it, never mind the fact that we've got satellites and surveillance stuff all over the globe that can find this kind of stuff. Jesus.
And our presence overseas is not robustly and aggressively pursuing human operations. But
excuse me. Yeah, one of those reasons is all those fucking boxes in Trump's shitter in Mar-a-Lago. If you want to look for a reason why our allies and their spies and their intelligence organizations don't necessarily trust us or are afraid to share shit, it's because Trump's on his way back in, and on his way out the door last time, he took with him intel that pointed to where their spies were and was willy-nilly with it even when he was in office, and it got some Israeli spies killed. So if he doesn't give a fuck about Israeli spies to benefit Russia getting them killed so that, again, so they could back up Bashar al-Assad, for the record. They do have cloaking devices, John, on the motherships. That's probably true. If they didn't, I mean, just on that history alone, you wouldn't trust him. It has nothing to do with how Biden's been in relationship with them.
There are people all over the world that remember the case officers that they met along the way and have reached out. There are also people reaching out to people like me that are good officers with reputations within the system because they trust us, and they're inside the government now, our government, explaining what they've been asked to do and what is actually going on.
Which is?
And there is, I believe, very solid intelligence that the Iranians have committed to people inside our system that they intend to ensure that President Trump is not there on the 20th of January.
Hang on. So, I don't know who they would make this promise to, but the Iranians are making a deal with people in our intelligence agency to assassinate Trump before January 20th. And they're giving him a heads up. Huh? Why? What? Why would they give anybody the heads up? I mean, obviously, this guy, I guess, wants you to believe that, you know, Biden's got people in the government that will okay it and allow it to go through, which I got to say, I'm not for and I don't believe. But at the same time, aren't these the same assholes that were arguing that Donald Trump could order SEAL Team 6 to kill somebody if he was president and it would be completely legal? He could kill his political rival and get away with it. And they're like, yeah, basically that's how it is. Well, he's not president right now. Joe Biden is. And if you're arguing that that's what's happening, I don't know what to tell you. Tough shit. You made your bed. Now, I guess, be drone struck in it or something. Like, again, I'm fucking around because I don't believe any of this shit. But you do realize these assholes were articulating over and over that he absolutely has this power that Trump would if he was in office. So, and obviously Biden does have it. I still can't figure out why the Iranians would let people know inside our system unless they're like, oh, he's got permission. We can help you. We'd love to help you get rid of your political rival. And if you would give us the official go-ahead, nothing can be done.
I look at Iran, there's a lot of people dismiss them, they're just foreigners and they say all kinds of blustery things and everything.
Yeah, that's how most of us talk about them. They're just foreigners and they say all kinds of blustery things. That's how that's how most of you guys refer to Iran in general.
Political assassination, the word assassin is a Persian word.
Yes, because people smoked hash and hashishans and whatever. They didn't invent the concept, dummy.
Invented political assassination.
No, they did not. They just had people who were hired at. That's like saying that knights don't exist because the Japanese invented the concept of the samurai. All kinds of societies had these kind of things. That was just where the name came from, dumb fuck.
They invented the car bomb as a political tool.
As a political tool. Before then, it was just used by the mob to kill their accountant or estranged wives to settle a score. As a political, shit the fuck out of here.
They invented kidnapping and operational use of their people to.
What are you talking about? When the fuck does this asshole think history started? 1965? All right. Oh, no one alive now was alive for the invention of kidnapping for political or financial purposes. Dummy. What the hell?
Change policies. They drove us out of Lebanon with car bombs, vehicular mounted IEDs, assassination. They kidnapped the chief of station and murdered him in a most horrific way. And we left Lebanon back in the Reagan administration.
Yes. Thanks, Joe Biden.
They know how to.
Also, why were we there in the first place? Can I just say there are certain situations where you had the intent of taking a place and you lose the fight and you leave, and that's a surrender. That's where you give up whatever strategy you had in the first place because you were going after something. Resources, political power, influence, the control of the actual space. Most of the time, old wars were about that, claiming the territory as your own. And then you get your ass handed to you and you fuck off. There is also another version of a situation where you align yourself with someone or you believe that there is a bad actor in an area and you take them on, and then you realize midway through that, holy shit, I'm being baited onto this battlefield by another adversary who wants me to not fight over here. So they're keeping me busy over here. Or this was stupid adventurism on my part. Let's just call it a fucking day and pack up and split, which is basically the history of Afghanistan. This whole it's the graveyard of empires horseshit is nonsense. There's just no reason to keep it. It doesn't have intrinsic worth, not strategically, not geographically, not environmentally. Unless you're growing poppies or looking for the shittiest oil in the world, there's plenty other places to go that don't require you to ship it over, hundreds of miles of desert, no matter which direction you take it, into hostile territory. It's not worth it. That's why they left. That's why everybody leaves. It ultimately is why the Russians left. It's why we left, because if we're not going to claim it as the 51st state, there's no reason to be there. Cut your losses, get the fuck out. Same thing with Lebanon under Reagan. Why were we there in the first place? Point of control or alliance? If we're not there for an alliance, we're there for a point of control, which means morally there's a limit on how long you would stay there or what you would do. It's just dumb. Also, so this plot has been going on also, they've been planning to kill fucking Trump when he took office the second time.
Do this. They
since the mid-'80s.
Assassinated Hariri in one of the most complicated operational things I've ever seen done that required 2 years of link analysis to unravel what they actually did to vector a truck bomb into an up-armored Mercedes limo that was in a group of 9 identical limos, yet they vectored the truck bomb against Hariri's car at the right time in the right place and killed the president of Lebanon in a massive explosion. But he was alive in the armored car. The armored car was not on its wheels anymore because of the blast. And President Hariri from Lebanon suffocated or burned to death, or a combination of both.
Or one or the other, or either, or, I don't know, impact damage, or he became a human marshmallow. What the fuck are you talking about?
Because of the fire.
Yeah, that's most people, when they suffocate from smoke inhalation or burn to death, it's because of fire.
Car kept itself intact, but the Iranians understand if you have a level 9 limousine, you just need a bigger bomb. It's not to blow up the car, but if the car isn't on its wheels.
Oh my God. This dude is tons of fun at poker night. Just shut up and play.
Anymore. If it's upside down or on its side.
Yes, it's a can. We get it. And if you seal the can either through an explosion or you can't get out, then the smoke from the inside will kill you just as much. Yes, we get it. The fuck does this have to do with anything? This happened in the 80s, you asshole. What does this have to do with quadcopters and low-flying airplanes and people thinking fucking Venus is a drone?
You have essentially achieved your goal. You have.
Yes, you have. If you're meant to kill him, you have essentially achieved your goal because, in essence, he is dead. Fuck me.
Frozen your target on the X. And if you need to, you can come up with another bomb that comes in and goes off again, right next to it.
Brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. There's yeah. I would guess yeah. So if one bomb doesn't do it, 2 bombs should. Brilliant. You were what level tactician were you?
They are determined.
By the way, almost everybody you see online who has CIA linked to their name, who's talking on podcasts, got coffee and washed out. They're like, somebody at some point went, ugh, this motherfucker, and they kicked him to the curb.
And they hate President Trump because of what happened with Qasem Soleimani. To think that they're not going to try is just folly. They will try, and they will keep trying until they succeed.
Yeah, the Iranians are like the Terminator, except they're not here and they're not naked, we hope.
They're not going to withdraw the fatwa for the killing of Qasem Soleimani.
So just about 45 seconds remaining, about a minute remaining. How serious?
Yeah, don't give them that much time.
Is Iran about avenging the death of Soleimani? Even if they were to...
I'm guessing they're not going to give up the fatwa about it, and they're going to keep trying until they kill him, is what this guy's going to say, because he just fucking said it. Jesus.
Successfully, God forbid, assassinate one of our leaders, that would result in a ferocious response. Is Iran really ready for that kind of vertical escalation? 1 minute remaining.
I'm not sure that they're concerned, overly concerned about it, because they're
perturbed by the possibility. They're mildly apprehensive at that particular turn of events, if it may or may not happen,
and absorb an awful lot of punishment if that's what happens. But I'm not convinced, unless we have a different administration in place, that there would be an overwhelming response.
If he gets killed again, J.D. Vance would be sworn in. We wouldn't have another election. That's not how it works. even if he doesn't become the president, like, you think fucking JD Vance is going to do some like jingoistic, double down, or are they just going to go, you know what, this is the final blowback for our decades of intervention in the Middle East, and it's bound to happen eventually, and we'll think of it as the day of his death will be another 9/11, and we'll just never forget, but we're going to handle this one differently by not invading Iran. Is that what you think? God, this is tiresome.
There could be so much confusion in the air sown by the fact that you've got all these drones and there's multiple targets. You've created a narrative that is confusing the public now.
I see. So that they're just all these drones are around so that if Trump gets killed by a car bomb, people are going to think it was aliens or the planet Venus.
What you feed into that narrative, if you have the opportunity after and a post-event scenario, you can feed in more confusion, more facts, more blame.
Oh, don't worry, Charlie will. Yeah, I mean, I think that's more confusion, more blame, I think, is the name of Charlie's next spoken word album.
Diversify the blame. There's a lot of avenues for how to do a deception.
Yeah, so you're saying diversity isn't our strength. I see.
Program that the U.S. is sensitive. We're sensitized to that stuff.
We are very sensitive. It is true. I'm very sensitive, and I think a lot of us need to get closer to our feelings about the whole thing. Don't you, Chad?
And you can confuse the hell out of people on what actually happened. And do we want to take the step of bombing a country because we blame Iran? We may not be able to figure out who did it forensically.
Yes.
But the fact.
What look at Charlie. Yeah. Yeah, it might just be, and especially if the FBI's looking into it, because they wouldn't want to know. They just leave it unsolved.
Fact is, if it happens, then we're faced with a long series of how do we transition to an inauguration? What do we do?
Yeah, what do you wear?
This is something we've never faced. We're on.
Yeah, God forbid.
Yeah, God forbid. I love how he's just, hold on. I love how this asshole is operating as if it already happened. Listen to how he's talking about it. You want to talk about obfuscating and creating confusion and all that kind of shit. He's talking about it like it occurred. And he's like, what are we going to do now? The Iranians have already won. They've already killed him. And we don't even know if it was really them. I'm so confused by my own bullshit. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I think the valuable lesson from that clip is worry is weaponized imagination. Someone taking your imagination and using it against you to make you concerned about shit that hasn't happened or won't happen. He is a silly person. And again, you can tell that beyond these assholes not being able to take no for an answer because they have a real problem with understanding the concept of consent, they also can't take yes for an answer, and they are the sorest winners you will ever see. And that's Trump's biggest, I think, the ballast, the anchor, the albatross that hangs around his neck all the time is that he doesn't even believe he won even when he did. He always feels like a loser, and that's never going to go away.